Spurs up, Carolina fans. This is Phil Harris again here at the Ruckin Rooster Show. I'm joined with head coach John Roberts and also John Golden, the captain of the Carolina Rugby program here for the men's rugby program. How the hell are you guys?
I'm awesome, Phil.
Good. So let's, for the Gamecock fans out there that have not catched your previous appearances on the show, can you give us a rundown of your personal and rugby background? I'll let Coach go first.
It's a long one. I'm going to be real short. I picked up my first rugby ball at the University of South Carolina in the late 1980s. Just parlayed that into some men's clubs at Augusta and Greenville, South Carolina, until my body broke down and I had my second child. And segued into coaching. Got 24 years ago at Furman University, where I was working in the communications field. I coached Furman for a long time, coached it for 22 years, did a lot of good stuff, won some championships there. I took a break from rugby to pursue a professional opportunity at a college in Georgia. Was away from rugby for 3 years, and then I had the opportunity to come back to the University of South Carolina to continue my rugby passion at the place where it all started. So I came on in a kind of a semi-volunteer role in August, and then was onboarded with the university in November. So I am a full-time employee, and I work in student life, and I'm very fortunate enough because I get to work with a lot of great young men and smiling faces, including John Golden, our beloved captain up there.
Yeah. John, give us a rundown.
Yeah, so I'm John Golden. I've been playing rugby for about seven years, I think, maybe a little bit longer. Been playing rugby at South Carolina for 4 years. I've been the captain for the last 2. I'm on my way out, but it's been fun. So we'll see where I go after this.
All right. So Carolina went into the Southern Collegiate Rugby Conference tournament as a 5th seed, but ended up winning the whole dang thing and bringing home the trophy where it belongs, by the way. Coach Roberts, what was the preparation like for the tournament, and how proud are you of these young men?
I'm just extremely proud of where we've come. And what makes this so particularly gratifying, Phil, is looking where we were in the fall and even where we were in March, and then seeing it all come together at the end.
Yeah,
it was just sort of great to see it blossom. I mean, we played a lot of good rugby early in the 7th season. We took over in fall. I mean, we got through the fall season. We had a really tough schedule. We played some good teams. We finished around 500 or so, and then we're cautiously optimistic as we came into March. We knew we had some good players. And we played a really hard schedule against some really good teams. And around spring break, I mean, we were around 500. I mean, I think we'd lost as many as we'd won.
Right.
And then suddenly, after spring break, it was just like everything just magically began to fit together. And we began to get better and better each week. We played good in spots, up until mid-March, but we hadn't been able to play good consistently, And suddenly, after spring break, we went down to Georgia. We won that tournament. It was a big, I think, an emotional lift, for our team to go down there and win something and take home a big trophy. And then in our tournament at South Carolina, we lost a couple games. We kind of sandwiched, a couple losses to Tennessee on the front and the back end.
Right.
But we had some good wins in between. We beat Clemson. Early in the year, they had pretty much taken us apart early in the season at the Citadel. So for us to come away with a really convincing win against Clemson was just a mark of how far we'd come. And then, God, man, we went into the tournament, and I don't think anybody was expecting us to do too much except for maybe Clemson because we had beaten them.
Right.
And most importantly, our guys never lost faith in each other. They seen the progress. We went in and we felt like we were the team to beat there. But we had some humps. We'd never beaten Tennessee. We lost 2 in a row to Tennessee. We lost 2 games early in the season to Kentucky. So we had to get over those hurdles, and it was great. And it was done in dramatic fashion. We beat Tennessee soundly in the first game. Then we had a couple of lopsided wins over, I think, Mississippi, right? Ole Miss
and Georgia.
Ole Miss and Georgia, and then that put us through to Kentucky,
Yep.
And John will tell you, I'm going to let him describe the last play of the Kentucky game. It was great. We won on the last play in the Kentucky game, and we had to beat Tennessee. Then we won the last game against Kentucky, and then we ended up having to play the Tigers, in the finals. And doggone it, I mean, it was back and forth. And then maybe we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more later in detail. But then we won it on the last play of the game.
Incredible.
And just so proud of the boys. And, and the person that I feel so happy for was this guy sitting up here on my screen, because he was the guy who pulled us through COVID. We had some coaching leadership, but it wasn't consistent during COVID. So we kind of entered, when I got here, we had kind of lost a couple steps, we were still good, but lost a couple steps. He held it together then and got us to this point. And he's been a great, it's been great working with him. I think my relationship with John is pretty much a partnership. We talk about strategy together. We talk about personnel together. And for him to be where we were, and then to be going where we are now, I know it's particularly gratifying to him. So I'll shut up and let the young guy talk.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I got a similar, stance on it as Coach Roberts. For me, I was on this team 4 years ago when I was a freshman, and I got to see us go to CRCS. I wasn't on the team then, but I got to see it. And then my sophomore year, COVID happened, and then my junior year, we just kind of weren't where we wanted to be. And then, through it all, we ended up doing it. But I mean, I'm proud of the guys that are the 12 guys that are on our team, or the 14 guys that are on our team. I mean, I don't think we're necessarily, we're good, obviously. Like we've been working hard together, but I mean, I think a lot of that comes from us being so close off the field.
Right.
I mean, like you guys know, my brother's on the team. So I think like everybody's as close as I am with my brother. Like we're that close. We hang out 24/7, and it's easy for us to go out there. Like we go out there with a smile on our faces. We have fun, and what happens on the field is extra. And obviously we all want to win, and we're all super competitive. But I mean, that friendship and that like trust that we build off the field, builds up. And as we've gone through the season together and like done everything together off the field, we've gotten better on the field. And I think it's just going to continue to do more of that going forward into nationals.
Goldie, tell me go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I mean, I think it's important to note, I mean, I don't think John would disagree with me on this. I mean, we have good players, but, we don't have, like that one or two kind of stud athlete, that we throw the ball to, and we just kind of expect that person to make it work. I mean, we have a lot of good players, but, we basically have been successful because they've worked together. And I've kind of likened it, and John's heard me say this to the team. It's like a basketball team that has a lot of really good players, and then they are trying to figure it out, and they're working hard, and then suddenly Mark comes, and they just work together incredibly well. They see things happen before they see things happen that other players don't, and more importantly, what's happened is they get to know the guys that they're playing alongside with, and they know their traits, and they know their strengths, and they communicate. And one of the things I would say about John, while we're very proud of the 12, 14 guys that are doing this, this was very much a program-wide success. I mean, we're out there practicing all this year, and we have an A and a B side. They worked with us very hard to get us ready for this, and I know they're our biggest fans, and they give us much joy and excitement in our successes and our participation in these two upcoming tournaments.
Definitely.
As a former B-side player, I really appreciate you throwing that out there, Coach Robertson. It's a team effort. That's very nice of you to do that. Goldie, as a leader on the team, what were you telling the boys match to match as the results were going your way? And what was going through your mind as you got your hands on that trophy?
I mean, going through it, like the drive up, it was the same message that it was every week. Like, we know we can play rugby. We just got to go out and do it. And too often in the beginning of the season, we would go out and we would, if we were playing a good team, we'd play well. Like in the beginning of the season at the Alabama tournament, we lost to Kentucky by 2 points in the last play of the game. It was a good team, but then we'd go out and we'd play, a not so good side, and we would barely scrape by with the win. And I kind of told them that stuff can't happen. And we're good enough to be a top tier program in the country and the league, and we can't stoop down to our level or that level. And then, like Coach said, that Georgia tournament happened, and I mean the competition wasn't great, but it kind of showed us that we can be a good team regardless of the competition that we play against. And then from there on, it was just keep pushing it. And at the conference tournament, I said the same thing 5 times in a row before every game. I just said, you got to trust the guy next to you. And that's how sevens is going to work. It's not going to be one guy it's not going to be one guy doing everything. It's going to be all 7 of us doing everything. And you got to trust the guy next to you to make a play, just like they're trusting you to make a play. And that's what it is. And we trust each other like no other. And then, we got our hands on the trophy. And the first thing that I thought of was, I'm going to call the alumni who I played with when I was a freshman and tell them that we won the conference 4 years ago, and I got to win it again. So I was happy.
That's fantastic. Love that call back to those guys back then.
Yeah.
Since that big win in the CRCs, Carolina will be playing in 2 national championship tournaments. Of course, the USA Rugby Sevens Collegiate Championships in Kennesaw, Georgia this weekend, which is May the 14th and 15th, and the Collegiate Rugby Championship, which, Carolina has a long history at this point of being a part of. And that's in New Orleans this time around, May the 28th through May the 30th. So my first question here for Coach Roberts is, has this team exceeded your first season expectations?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in sevens for sure. I mean, I felt that in the end we would be successful. I wasn't quite sure how far we could go, but one of the things that's been that's why the championship. I mean, and I'll be very clear. I mean, we won those games, and it's a testament to what we've been able to do this as a season. But I wasn't absolutely sort of like, guaranteed that we would come out top that tournament.
Yep.
And, we did it because we fought for ourselves and we played big when we needed to play big. But those games against Clemson and Tennessee and Kentucky were tight. I mean, there's just a little space between those programs.
Right.
I mean, and I'm so happy that we're able to do it. And, something that's really been, I've been reflecting a little bit on the season, and I really haven't had to take much of a big hand in coaching the guys. I don't really give them a big, pregame talk or postgame talk because, our squad it's player led. John does such a great job. They listen to him. I just kind of sit around the sides and make some suggestions from time to time and subs in. But for the most part, I've just tried to create, and the coaches have tried to create, an organization where they can take ownership of, and they've done a great job of doing that. So I've coached for a long time, and winning that championship, and moreover, having all those other teams cheer for us. At the end, if you guys have seen the video, it's just fantastic. I mean, Georgia, Alabama, everyone on the sideline, Tennessee, probably even Kentucky too. I mean, everybody on that sideline saved those Clemson Tiger guys who were a great program, coached by a great team, great coach. Where they were pulling for us. They were pulling for the old underdogs. And after that game, I'll never forget, must have been an Alabama kid or a Georgia kid. He goes, "Hooray for the chickens!" It's so cool. It's so cool.
That's pretty cool when you got your rivals clapping for you. That's pretty good. It speaks volumes, actually. Goldie, as a senior and captain on the team, how does it feel to lead this team back to the national spotlight where it belongs?
I mean, it's really cool, but I mean, I don't think, like Coach said, like these guys listen to me, but we're all the same when it comes to the field. And like Coach said, it's player led, and it's not. I don't think it's me led. It's all of us led. And after the games, we're open enough with each other to tell each other, what we could do better. And if I thought that Daniel or Grant did something wrong, I can tell them that confidently, knowing that they're not going to take it personally. They're going to, sorry about that.
You're good.
They're going to take it and they're going to learn from it. Same with, them telling me that. And if we did something well, we can all talk about it together. But it's cool. I get to say I'm the captain, but I think everyone on the team knows that we're a group and we did it all together. So it's really cool.
Sure. Yeah, this is for the both of you here. Coach Roberts, what has been the biggest challenge to get to this point? And then I'll, of course, throw this to Goldie as well.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest, I wouldn't say it was a challenge. I mean, because we were able to do so many things well just because of the closeness and because of the family of the team. I think we faced, some challenges, as a program, one of which was recruiting. And we're going to face a lot more of these challenges kind of going forward because we're going to be having many more recruits join us next year, is building out the infrastructure with the coaching staff and with alumni support, with social media, managing the platforms, making sure all our paperwork's done. Those are the challenges. I'm not worried about the boys putting in the work. The challenges that lay ahead is just building that support structure that we need so that we can continue to build upon our success, and I know John understands this too. And one of the things that's been really gratifying to me is that since we've won the conference championship, I mean, we're doing a lot of great things off the field and growing that, but that buzz, that excitement about getting back and winning the conference is just, it's going to help us short and long term as we engage our alumni and sponsors and donors and get them to buy into all the great stuff we're doing here at the University of South Carolina.
For sure. Goldie, you got anything to add on that?
Yeah, it's a challenge, but also it's, a blessing. This team we have 2 seniors and we have 2 juniors, and on our 7th team out of our 15, and everyone else is an underclassman. So, like we said, we're kind of learning how we play off the field and how we play on the field and how, we're learning about each other. It's been a challenge to kind of, we have 3 freshmen in our starting lineup, and Quinn, Pete, and Tom, and we got Grant, who's obviously insane. He started all season, who's a sophomore, and we got all these guys. JV is a sophomore, and it's been interesting learning how they play, and not necessarily a challenge, but it's just taken a little while to kind of see what players they are on the field. And, I know what Grant's going to do on the field without even looking at him or hearing what he's going to say. And I know what JV is going to do, and I know what Pete and Quinn are going to do. And now I know that, but, in January and February, I hadn't played with them almost at all. So it was a little challenging to go out and play with kids who barely even knew their name, much less played rugby with them. But I've known them now for a little while, and I think we're kicking. So we're good to go.
Very good. It's so encouraging that all these underclassmen are going to be coming up and get more experience through the years here. The best rugby for Carolina has not yet been played, I think is a great way to describe that, regardless of how we finish this tournament. So let's switch gears and talk specifically about the one that's coming up this weekend, which is a mouthful here. It's the USA Rugby Sevens Collegiate Championship. Carolina will be competing in the red division in Pool D with Florida, who's not in our conference, oddly enough, and Western Washington. This is for the both of you. What are the expectations for both tournaments, including the CRCs as well, and what has been the preparation for these?
Go ahead, Coach.
Well, the preparation has been just as it always has been. We are, most of the guys are back on campus. We're practicing. I had practice this morning at 9 o'clock, 9 to 11. We'll go tomorrow, 9, 11, Wednesday, 9 to 11, 11 off day on Thursday. Then they'll come in to Atlanta on Friday, have a team check in, probably go out and throw the ball around a little bit, working hard this week. I think we're in a pretty good spot. We have most of the guys here, and we'll have almost all of them here tomorrow. And then we'll be missing a couple guys, to be honest, right up until we get to Atlanta. But I think we're going to be coming in game ready. Expectations in this tournament is that, we're playing in our bracket. We're playing a lot of Division I AA teams. Okay, so we're playing well-organized club teams, most of whom are conference champions in different parts of the country. So I have very, very high expectations for us to do well in this. We come from a very strong conference, a conference that fielded the USA Rugby 15s national champion back in November. So I go in it with pretty good expectations. It's sevens though, so it can turn on a turnover or misplay or a penalty, and that's one of the things that's kind of you want to just kick yourself sometimes when you're a coach, but that's the beauty of the game. So I have really good expectations on that. I'll let John talk about that, and then I'll talk. Then I'll go back to our expectations going into New Orleans.
Okay.
For me at USA Nationals, I think the expectation is to win. And I think we found out that we're not just a team who gets lucky and wins when we play bad teams, but we're a team who can win against good teams.
Wow. Very good.
And I mean, we've shown that, and I think you guys will see that we'll show that again on Saturday and Sunday.
Love the confidence.
Love
it.
That's it. Yeah, I think that's just what we have to do.
Yeah.
Like, we're confident, and like, obviously we've been taking it seriously, and we've been giving it everything we got. But I mean, the expectation is no less than first place.
Yeah, I mean, going to the CRCS, just talking about that for a moment, that is in New Orleans this time around. It used to be in Philadelphia prior to COVID. I went to several of those that Carolina was in. We've won trophies at that tournament previously, most notably against the Clemson Tigers. Coach, give us a rundown of your expectations and for that tournament.
It's important that South Carolina be there.
Yep.
Because it's a really good look for the program. It's nationally televised, just like the tournament in Atlanta is. We're playing in a bracket, with the Lindenwoods and a lot of the, varsity programs that are traditionally very good and very high powered. Traditionally, there's a little space between those varsity programs and, the ones that are not, the club teams. Right. I kind of think we're a varsity club because we really are, I think, a varsity club as opposed to just sort of a club team. So I recognize that. I'm not going to underestimate anything, that our team can do on that. It'd be great. I expect we're going to go down there. We're going to be competitive. We're going to win some games. It'd be great if we could duplicate what we did back. I think it was 16 or 17 when we got to the bowl game. We played Clemson. I think that was very exciting. Yep. It's just, it's on the national stage. It's going to be a fantastic environment. Hopefully, we'll get some airtime on TV. But the thing that's really important about this, I think, is that the players that go down there, they're going to have an experience in New Orleans playing there that they're going to remember when they're an old guy like me. They'll look back on this tournament, regardless of what happens. I mean, we'll go down there and win some games, but regardless, if we do well or if we don't do so well, and they'll have that memory of playing rugby at Carolina. I think that's something that's real special about it.
For sure. I'm trying to pull up the bracket as we speak. I know that you guys played Northeastern first. I actually got to saw them in person up here in Quincy, Massachusetts, in the tournament that they played. Kutztown will definitely be a problem if you guys meet up with them. It's a very, very good team. But you got to feel good about the Gamecocks' chances, considering what we did in our conference tournament for sure. Just, Coach, real quick, how can Gamecock fans that are watching this help the team?
Well, these trips cost, we're responsible. I'm not sure when you're going to put this up on the interweb, Phil, but
this week.
Okay, great. We have until the end of day Wednesday midnight to sell 100 tickets for Atlanta. Right now, and it is Monday night, and I'm here in my office, and I've been calling people, and we've sold 38.
Okay.
So we're moving up a little bit, but we need a little help with that. So it'd be good if you're interested in doing it. Even if you can't go, buy a ticket, send us your email, your e-ticket, and we'll stand outside before the matches. And I'll do it. I'll get Jeff Smoke, our assistant coach, or Sean, who's been our rugby intern extraordinaire, out there. We'll give them away, and we want to get people in the stand. So you can do that. And of course, there's our GoFundMe that's on our Facebook page, and you can chime in that way. And we love going to these things. But I'll tell you, there's only 2 teams in our conference that had enough confidence in their support and their organization, their administration, and their players to try to do 2 of these, right?
Yep.
To try to go to a USA event and down to New Orleans. That's a big deal, to be able to pull that off. And we're doing it. Clemson's the only other program that's doing it. But it just speaks volumes about, but it costs money.
Yes.
And that's the reality of it. So we're asking everybody to kind of put a hand to the oar and row the boat and help us get there.
Yeah, I'll actually buy 2 right now, and you can give them away. I won't be able to attend either one, unfortunately. I'm going to be up in Toronto watching my Free Jacks play towards the end of the month, unfortunately, and I just can't make this one either. But yeah, I'll buy 2 tickets. No big deal.
Right. That Phil, appreciate it, man. You always hit a home run when you come up to the plate for us. Thank you so much, my friend.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Let's talk about recruiting real quick. It's kind of off topic from the actual tournaments that we have coming up, but there's a lot of victories going on with Carolina recruiting in terms of rugby. On and off the pitch, I think that recruits are seeing what Carolina's doing and they like what they see. Can you talk about recruiting, Coach, and the victories that you've had on that front?
Yeah, that's been very rewarding. The guys have kind of been kicking butt, on the field. And then I think that, I hate to be too prideful, but we work really hard with recruiting. And it's not just me.
Yeah.
Every time a recruit comes on campus, they meet with me, they go to lunch with the boys, they get a campus tour. I connect oftentimes the recruits, I connect them with students that are on the team that are of their academic interest. So for example, we had Grant Howard, call a prospect, Paul Morrow, who was up in, I'm kind of missing them all now. He's up in the suburbs of Philadelphia, I think, who was interested in coming here because he was a business major. So I'm happy to say that we have 12 guys that come from really great programs that are going to be joining us. And it's the University of South Carolina, so there's always going to be 2 or 3 guys that are just going to show up.
Right.
Going to come out.
Yep.
We've been successful at recruiting some walk-ons for the football team that didn't quite make the cut there.
Awesome.
They're going to be out. So I think when we get to the point when we walk on in the fall, we will be at a spot where we have only graduated 2 starters. But then we'll have probably, I don't know, 22 or 23 guys, coming on and joining us. So that's what I talk about, building the infrastructure, why we need to get coaches and why we need to build that thing up. And I'll let John talk to it because he can speak to the team's excitement about the recruiting as well.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was interesting for me when I joined. I was one of 2 freshmen, and that freshman ended up leaving after the other freshman ended up leaving after a year and a half. So it was only me. So I'm the only one who's been on the team for 4 years. So recruiting wasn't something that we necessarily did. We were just the University of South Carolina, and people joined when they wanted to.
Right.
And then maybe once in a while we'd have 2 or 3 kids reach out from high school, just want to play. But like from where we were to where we are now is unreal. And I've never even seen this many kids, care about rugby. But it helps a lot when, if I'm not mistaken, I think in CRCS we're a 3 seed, but we're the highest ranked club team in the country. So it helps when you're a team like that. Like, we're a fun school, and I can attest to that. I've been here for 4 years and loved every minute of it. Yep. South Carolina is a good time, but when you're having a good time off the field and you're winning on the field, that's the best of both worlds, and that's what we do. So hopefully we can continue to do that. But I know the guys are excited to have this big recruiting class, and I'm excited to see where it goes after I graduate. But I'm happy that we could pull it together after having as few as 15 guys during COVID to having hopefully over 60 next season.
Yeah, I just wanted, Goldie, as one of our last things here, I know you kind of covered it a little bit here, but I wanted you to speak directly to recruits that are considering Carolina Rugby. What would you say to them directly?
If you're considering it, do it. It's the best thing ever. I never got reached out to. I never got a phone call. I just knew I was going to go to South Carolina and figured I'd send a text or a DM over to one of the players. And I heard something back a week later. He told me to come out. I did. It's been a good 4 years, and it's basically the only friends I ever needed. You don't need a frat. You don't need a group, but we're a frat that plays sports, and it's a really, really fun time, and we do things together, on and off the field. We're all super competitive, and we argue and we complain and we fight, but it's because we all want to win, and we do that on the field, and then off the field we do everything else together. So, I mean, it really is the best of both worlds. And I mean, my 4 years is done. I graduated 2 days ago, so I'm all done here. But I mean, I had a good time, and my cousin just committed here a few days ago. Hopefully my youngest brother will commit here too. So, I mean, I'm trying to keep it in the family.
Congratulations on graduation there. Any final thoughts from everybody here, Coach and Goldie? Final thoughts.
I mean, I'll go first. Check us out. On TV. We'll be on NBC this weekend, and we'll be Memorial Day weekend. It will be on CBS. Mm-hmm. So it's time basically for all the rugby alumni, to shake your Gamecock tail feathers, have a little pride in the program, get excited about where we are, get excited about the path we're taking, and get excited about where we're going, and jump on and be a part of it. Don't be on the sidelines watching and cheering, read the emails, do the communications, help us out, make a monthly gift. We want to get all of our alumni to make some kind of monthly gift to support us, whether it's $25 a month or $50 a month. John said he's going to start off by supporting us with $1,000 a month since he's going to have the sales job.
Give me a few years to save up some money, and then I'll be on.
Yeah, John's going to help. John's going to join as a I'm sure as a $25 a month sort of gateway member. But
I'll start as soon as I can.
All right, I know you will, but that's what we need. We need people to chip in and to help and get excited.
Very good, very good. Goldie, you got anything?
Yeah, I mean, me, Grant, Daniel, and the rest of the guys have been saying it all season. Why not? Why not us? So
nice.
I mean, we've been giving it a shot, and I mean, we were the 5th seed that turned around to win it. So maybe this year a 3 seed will win. I don't know. Why not?
There you go. Why not us? Love it.
But we need the support from the fans. It doesn't mean anything to us if we win and no one cares about it. So I know I'm not the only one that cares about it. And I know the other 12 guys care, and I know everyone else on the sideline does. But we need everyone else who's been a Gamecock to care too. So tune in. Hey,
we'll be down in New Orleans. And for some of those people that are familiar with New Orleans sports, they have this expression down there, who dat? Who dat? And so maybe they'll be saying, who dat? About South Carolina when we go down there at the end of this month to compete.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, guys. Hopefully we'll get some big wins down there in the tournaments. And I've really only got 2 words to get out of here, and I think you guys know what it is. In 3, 2, 1, Spurs up, baby! Woo!